It's time for Voice of Indie. Your hosts today are Beam Weeks, author, producer, and marketing monster for independent multimedia publisher Fresh Ink Group, and Stephen Gies, author, producer, composer, and publisher for Fresh Ink Group.
All right, welcome everybody. Another Wednesday in the books, and this is the Voice of Indie podcast, episode number 61. I am your host, Beam Weeks, and with me is my co-host, Stephen Gies. How you doing tonight, Stephen?
Hey, I'm just excited to be here. Had a nice hot sunny day in Alabama. You know, you came down here and visited, and it rained like every day you were here. As soon as you left,
not every day.
Up. Jupiter came out. The moon got spectacular, rising across the lake. It was just beautiful. So we've got a plan now. Every time we need nice weather, we'll bring you down here and then get rid of you.
Yeah, well, it didn't rain every day because when we went to Humphreys, it was a nice day. That was with the outside patio there and just listening to live music. That was really cool. But,
Humphreys in Huntsville, Alabama, with a shout out to the guitarist Aaron Stapler, who was fantastic.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, a shout out also to Verwayne Greenhoe and his wife, Lisa, who is recovering and is doing quite well after her health issues, and they are in the audience tonight. So welcome to Verwayne and welcome back, Lisa. We are so glad that you are home and resting and doing well. And also, C.S. Boyack, author of the Hat Stories, is on my blog today. So go over to beamweeks.wordpress.com, or you can access my blog through my website, beamweeks.com, and leave a comment, show some support for C.S. Boyack. He's going to be offering his book Hat for free on October 5th through the 7th, and he will also be offering The Ballad of Mrs. Maloney for free October 19th through the 21st. So get over there to my blog, beamweeks.wordpress.com or beamweeks.com, and like I said, leave them a message and let them know that you're out here, that you're going to support them. And keep those dates in mind. They're there on the blog. Jot them down, and grab a copy of those books when they're available for free. Who doesn't like free?
I like free. I'm all in favor of it. Now, anybody who happens to be in the Huntsville, Alabama, Alabama area this weekend, stop by the auto show that's going on, and you can catch both me and our marketing kid, Sam Wilson. We'll be there. We'll look for you. Go ahead, roll it.
All right.
Call 516-453-9902 right now and join us on air, or tweet us with the hashtag Fresh Ink Group in the body, and we'll read your comment or question live. That's 516-453-9902 or hashtag Fresh Ink Group.
Get on those phones, listeners. There's some of you that have been out there, regular listeners, and haven't made that phone call. We got a great guest tonight, so you can call in with your questions and your comments. Now, Hello Chattanooga by David Carroll will be out. It is out now, actually. So get over to Amazon. We've talked about this book. We had Mr. Carroll on as one of our guests here a few weeks back. Hello Chattanooga is a book jam-packed full with color pictures, dates of fantastic concerts and Broadway-type productions and political rallies and sporting events that all happened in Chattanooga from the turn of the last century to the current day. And I'm talking about turn of from 1910 on. So get over there to Amazon and grab a copy. It's a really cool book. I've already been through the whole thing, and it's fascinating.
Now, Legacy of Danger is the first book that we're publishing by Patricia A. Guthrie. We're working on several more books for her and hope to have at least 3 out in the next 3 months or so. The first one, Legacy of Danger, should be in pre-sale by the end of this week. I'm going through the last final corrections right now and hopefully get all this thing approved by tonight. Start uploading in the next day or two, and you should be able to order your copy of Legacy of Danger. And tonight you're going to hear the commercial during the show, and the video is now over on YouTube in the Fresh Ink Group channel. So get over there and check it out.
Stay on top of these podcasts and all things Fresh Ink Group with our weekly digital newsletter, new releases, videos, stories, excerpts, interviews, and more. Sign up now on the homepage of freshinkgroup.com and be the one who knows what's what.
Yeah, cool thing here. The Doctor Who Online website, which is a pretty big deal, has endorsed Robert G. Williscroft's Icicle, a tensor matrix, the first Ort Chronicle in today's newsletter. So get over there and check that out and show some support. This is what this is all about, supporting indie authors and supporting authors in general.
And speaking of Robert G. Williscroft, he will be appearing at the Mile High Con in Denver this weekend. That's October 1, 2, and 3. It's at the Denver Marriott Tech Center. And let's see, it starts with registration Friday, runs Friday afternoon and evening, all day Saturday, and until 4 o'clock Sunday. Now, Dr. Williscroft will be there with science fiction author Alistair Mayer. I believe they're sharing a booth or a table, so you get a twofer. You get to stop by, meet some great science fiction writers, maybe get an autograph, have a book inscribed, take a couple of pictures, brag about it to all of your friends, and have fun. The MyHiCon is a great convention. It's always worth visiting, and this time you get the double treat of being able to meet Robert G. Williscroft and Alistair Mayer in person.
Yeah, cool.
If you miss a show, find us in the archive in the Fresh Ink Group channel on YouTube, on Spotify, or under the podcast tabs at freshinkgroup.com, beamweeks.com, and stephengs.com. On YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, and as Stephen had mentioned this just a few minutes ago, but yeah, the Legacy of Danger book trailer, brand spanking new video, that's up on the Fresh Ink Group YouTube channel. So go over there and check that out. Leave a like. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. It helps us out. It helps us build this audience. And we will, as he also said, we will be playing the audio commercial for that during today's show. So there you go.
Now, in today's newsletter, our featured Fresh Ink Group member is Richard W. Jenkins. I want to draw your attention to that. Get over there and check out his bio and his information and his poetry book, which is an excellent, excellent poetry book. Richard Jenkins, very interesting fellow. He's in the Houston area, down there in Texas, and he became quite the expert at karate, and then he became a judo black belt, and now he's a taekwondo grand master who has taught hundreds of students and runs an operation and wins lots of awards, and basically is the kind of guy that I wouldn't want to pick a fight with. We've been wanting to try to have him on the show for quite a while now, but Mr. Jenkins got COVID, and he got a bad case. He wound up in the hospital on a ventilator, and it was touch and go for several days there where it was not looking like he was going to make it. But he did manage to pull through. Luckily, he's robust and healthy and strong, so he is recovering now, and we are looking forward to having him on the show sometime in the next month or two. So shout out to Richard Jenkins. Keep recovering. Hang in there. Work on some more poetry so we can get that second book out, and everybody's going to be checking out your book today.
Yeah, all right. So today, speaking of today, today's guest is Marlena Smith. Marlena, she's a return guest. Marlena Smith was born in a small town of Alabama where she continues to live today. When she's not working at the office, she can be found writing, reading, or blogging. Writing has always been a major part of her life, even or ever since grade school, when she was selected to attend the Young Authors Conference in her state. Although her writing has been public, I just got some little typos here. Although her writing has been published through her blog for several years, she has only recently begun publishing it through the standard, on Amazon and whatnot. She has several works in progress, including a romance novel, a young adult novella, and several short stories. You can learn more about Marlena by visiting her website at scriblingsofasouthernbelle.wordpress.com. Welcome to the show again, Marlena. Good to have you back.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here chatting with you guys.
Hey, Marlena.
I had a couple of typos there in what I was reading from. So
Actually, Beam, I got to disagree. I'm not seeing any typos. I think you were just misreading it. Although her writing has been public through her blog for several years, she has only recently begun publishing.
All right. That makes sense.
But at any rate, I'm waving at you from Guntersville, Marlena. Can you see me from Coleman?
I can. You're not too far.
All right. Yeah, we enjoyed having you on the show before, so we thought we'd have you back and see if you could get it right this time.
We'll see.
Yeah. So
how you doing, Marlena?
I'm great. I wanted to say that I always get so excited talking to y'all and listening to your shows and everything because of all the familiar names and people that have kind of been part of my writing journey and everything. It's just so nice to hear all of the names and hear updates on everybody, like Verwain and Craig and everything. It's just, it's kind of refreshing to hear everything like that.
Kind of like old home week. Now you've
got
some.
She already got it right.
Yeah. Now you have some exciting personal news, right?
Ooh.
I do. I am engaged, recently engaged. We are getting married in April of next year.
Well, congratulations. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that'll be cool. So what kind of wedding plans do you have?
We are very simple. Nothing fancy or anything. Just the biggest thing was just wanting our family and friends just celebrating. That's kind of a big part for us. Is just we don't want all the ritzy. We don't want some of the crazy traditions and everything. We just want to have a celebration. So we're keeping things like I said, kind of simple and just happy.
So you're going to tell us the lucky fellow's name? I know you talked about him the last time you were on the show.
His name is Will.
All right.
And I've known him for, close to 10 years actually, but we've only been together about 5.
Well, that's a pretty good run.
And he has a daughter?
He does. He has an 11-year-old little girl named Kelsey, and I swear it's almost like she is mine because her and I are so much alike. It's uncanny. But she's such an angel. I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, that's such a fun age. All the bonding, and they're old enough to start getting involved in some serious activities and serious discussions and serious thinking and all that kind of stuff. But they're still kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, over on Twitter, we do have a couple of quick comments. Verwain Greenhoe, he says, Lisa and I are both in the audience tonight for at least a bit. She has a bedtime, and I will probably leave for a few minutes. Thank you to all who sent prayers for her recovery. Well, we are just glad that she's in that recovery frame and everything's looking up. Also, we have Dr. Helen Burrell. She says, enticing. Marlena Smith's blog, Scribblings of a Southern Belle, offers creative diversity, fiction, critique of others' fiction, plus instruction and editing for other writers searching for Marlena's creative professionalism. A Writer Pro.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Helen. And Verwain came back with, hi, Marlena. It's good to hear from you again. I hope your marriage is as happy as my new marriage has become. Verwain and Lisa.
Aww.
So everybody's glad to have you back on the show, including us.
I'm telling you.
So, and those are those familiar names, too, of course.
Yeah. I mean, this audience is kind of this is a relatively new show. It's been around for a year, but there's a lot of people that were in the audience at the old place. So that's cool.
Mm. So you want to roll a commercial, Beam?
Sure.
Let's go ahead and hit Legacy since we've been talking about it.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't want to click. There we go.
Click, click, click.
Elena Decani inherits her family's castle in Romania, a land dipped in myths, folklore, and the legendary Walking Dead. The local proverb serves as a warning. Do not speak badly of the devil, because you cannot know to whom you will belong. When she's attacked by an international assassin, only her deceased husband and her ex-boyfriend's live presence can protect her on her journey to the mountainous region of Transylvania. But that's not the only problem troubling Elena. Who is that boy invading her dreams? And what really happened to a priceless gem-crusted silver cross buried by an earthquake in the 15th century? Who's stalking Elena? Who wants her dead and why? Legacy of Danger by Patricia A. Guthrie is a paranormal romantic thriller with a deep mystery and plenty of suspense. It'll haunt you in jacketed hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats worldwide. Legacy of Danger by Patricia A. Guthrie is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group.
Yeah, now get over there and check that video out on the Fresh Ink Group YouTube site because I tell you, a lot of work went into that. We had to fly over to Romania and shoot all those on-site video footage that you see in there. We had to go up there and sneak into the castle and film all that. So, and when it was pretty tense for a while there.
Bribing the officials
yeah,
was not
and when you're wandering around Transylvania, that let me tell you, Dracula, he's still there, okay? He's the undead. And he was following us. Doing that blah, 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 blah. It's like, what does blah, 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 blah mean?
Yeah, you really see some things wandering around. It's not unlike wandering around Coleman in the late evening. That's when they come out.
That's right.
The vampires of Coleman.
So Marlena, what is life around Coleman like? What's the day to day? What do y'all do for fun? What's it like around where you live?
You know, growing up, there wasn't a whole lot to do. We had a skating rink, an old movie theater, and a bowling alley. And honestly, it hasn't changed much. It's just updated. The movie theater's a little nicer and offers a few more movies. And the skating rink, I swear, I'm pretty sure it's the same. But, yeah, I guess the biggest thing for Coleman are the churches. There's a lot of them. And there's this really big sense of community, whether you're in like the actual city limits of Coleman or you're in the little outskirt towns or something. I don't know. It's a really good place to live. And, you know, a long time ago, I always said I wanted to one day venture out and, you know, be elsewhere, you know, live in a big city or something. But I never left Coleman, and I'm really glad I never did. It's such a good place to live. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
Well,
yeah, it is, and it's located well too.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Now, you mentioned the bowling alley. Is that still open?
It is. It actually has been remodeled. I would say probably within the last year or two. Okay. It's had a couple of different remodels, but yeah, it's still there. It's they've actually got a little. I haven't been since they did this, but they've added like a little bar restaurant area. Cool. Which is still new to me, the fact that people drink in Coleman, that you can buy alcohol in Coleman. So, even though it's been around for like 10 years now, it's almost foreign to me.
Well, I'd asked that because like up in these parts, up here in Michigan, we still have some bowling alleys open, but a lot of real big ones, the monster bowling alleys that were huge successful endeavors in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s are gone. And so you got some of the smaller ones in the smaller outlying cities, towns, because nobody bowls anymore. And that's a shame. Because I bowled on leagues for years, and that was always just a fun Friday night or Saturday night, and you're hanging out with, friends and family and just a good time. But It's good to see that you still have yours down there.
Yeah,
so I take it Coleman was once dry?
Yeah, it actually was. You had to drive like 30 to 45 minutes to go to like a beer store or something. But they voted it to become a wet county. I honestly can't even tell you when it was, but I bet it's been at least about 10 years maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, when Beam was down here visiting, I was pointing out to him, we'd be driving down the road. When you come to a county line, there's a store right before the line that says, last chance, last chance. Those are all over Alabama because you get in and out of dry and wet counties everywhere you go.
Yes.
But it's kind of funny. It was really restaurants that have been driving counties to become wet because they can't compete when, there's a restaurant over the county line where you can order a beer or wine with your dinner. And the one on this side of the line, you can't, and it's kind of hard to stay in business when you do that. So,
yes,
money
exactly.
drives.
We actually got a few nice to me they're a nice restaurant like Applebee's. But we actually started getting some of those better restaurants when alcohol was allowed to be served. So I definitely agree with you on that. I feel like that was a big driving force.
Now, Beam, we missed a chance to go bowling. We didn't even think of bowling in Coleman, did we?
No, we didn't. If I'd have known there was a bowling alley, I haven't been bowling in 25 years. But,
well, y'all missed out.
Now, Marlena, one thing that we did do is I showed him Nakalula Falls, and this was after 5 solid days of rain. So those falls were warm.
Wow.
Man, it was beautiful, just roaring over that. Because I assume you've seen it if you've been there in the area your whole life.
It's been a long time.
Right.
Long time. But I love
Nakalula
Falls.
It's
so
that
beautiful.
little narrow fall that's like maybe 4, 5, 6 feet wide, but it was like 40 feet wide when we went. But
I got video.
Wow.
You have a spectacular waterfall right there around Coleman too, don't you? And that I've never seen.
Well, kind of. We have. It's actually kind of within I don't even know what you would call it, but almost a subdivision area. It's called Markwood Falls. I'm guessing that's one area that it definitely gets some crazy water gushing after a good bit of rain. And we've had a couple areas where it's kind of off the beaten path, but it's some smaller waterfalls that's kind of neat to go to, that you have to hike to and stuff.
Yeah, I got a bunch of video and still photos of the falls. That was cool. It was raging because, like Stephen said, it was raining that whole time, and it was just, it became a raging waterfall. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Now, Marlena, what kind of child were you? What was your childhood like? Were you into reading and writing, or did this come later?
No, I was. Looking back at it, I was a nerd. I loved school. I loved learning. I actually enjoyed going to school and everything. And yeah, definitely books and writing. Everything was. I loved all of it growing up. I actually can't think of a time where books or some form of literature hasn't been a part of my life. But so yeah, it's always been there for me. And I was also a good kid. I'm the younger of two, which I don't think either one of us could ever be considered bad kids. We had a good family growing up and everything.
No lighting firecrackers in class?
No. I was too scared of doing anything wrong, I think. I was bad about being the teacher's pet, I wanted to I wanted to be the
so you were a nerd and a suck up, huh?
Yes. But not always intentional.
There was always one of those in every class.
Yes. But I will also say I never raised my hand in class. I was not one of those that wanted to speak up and answer the questions and stuff. I actually hated being called on in class.
Really? Wow.
Yes. I've never been one for public speaking.
Well, you're speaking publicly now.
Usually Usually writers are more of the me types.
Yep.
So how about now? What kind of hobbies and interests do you have now? What do you do to stay busy? I know you'd like to go boating.
I do. We have a boat. We've had it for a couple of years now. So we go to Smith Lake as often as we can, weather permitting and everything. And it's such an amazing thing. I never thought I would enjoy having a boat, but it's actually quite relaxing and peaceful. So I'm thankful to live in a county that has such a large lake. Aside from that, I love to cook and try new recipes. I'm big into photography. I don't take as many pictures as I would like, but it's definitely one of my outlets, I would say. I love just kind of going on a little photography adventure and just seeing what I can take pictures of.
Oh, me too. I'm always snapping pictures. Especially, it's cool.
You post some really good ones, yeah.
Today's day and age, you've got your phone with you, and some of these phones have really good cameras on them, so you've always got your camera with you.
Yes.
We do have over on Twitter a couple of comments. First of all, Verwayne Greenhouse says, "Now that's a trailer." Thank you, Verwayne. And there's Jill Mayer. She says, "My name is Ellen in Denver. I will be going to Mile High Con this weekend, and I look forward to getting Dr. Robert G. Willis-Croft and Allison Mayer's newest books with their autographs. I will be the tall gal wearing a NASA astronaut jumpsuit." All right, guys, keep an eye out for the tall gal in the NASA astronaut jumpsuit.
I want to see pictures.
Yeah, pictures and post them on blogs there. All right. So speaking of school, Marlena, what kind of education did you have? Did you any college? Graduated?
We have. We have a community college here in Coleman. It's technically in one of the outside towns, but it's called Wallace State. I went there. I actually started the summer between my 10th and 11th grade year. See, I'm showing my true nerdiness there.
Wow.
I started on a summer honors program to kind of get a jump start on college. And so at Wallace, since it was just a community college, technically I got an associate's in liberal arts. And then from there, I went to a university in Athens, which is about an hour north of where I am, and that's where I finished my bachelor's degree in education. So I got my elementary education certificate, and then there were some issues with the state and getting everything taken care of, and I just kind of lost that gumption to continue pursuing it. But I did get the education, and I'm still thankful for it. I really enjoyed my children's literature class. That was my favorite.
Cool. Great. You want to roll a commercial, Beam?
Sure.
Music has charms to soothe a savage breast. Nothing is certain but death and taxes. God helps those who help themselves. We've all heard these sayings, but have you ever wondered who said that? Hey, we've all looked for another way to say something, so wouldn't a resource for common ways of speaking come in handy? Or you could explore fun ways our language memes reach into the past. You could simply say, "You win," but other ways to say it. Grab the brass ring, beat the odds, get the gold, hit the jackpot, beat the pants off of them, and many more. It's all figuratively speaking. Who said that? Figuratively Speaking by J. L. Juni, author, playwright, and word maven. Educational but interesting and fun. Explore the many ways we use language and then keep these books for reference. They're available now as jacketed hardcovers, plus soft covers and ebooks, iBook, Kindle, Nook, Google Play, and more. Who said that? and Figuratively Speaking are proudly published by Fresh Ink Group.
Okay, and that's another one where there's a video for that, a video book trailer for that over on the Fresh Ink Group YouTube channel. That's just got some really cool jazz music. It's one of those chill music. Mm-hmm. Kind of chilling out.
Now that author, Jay Ashlooney, is going to be a guest on the show here in a couple of weeks, or next week, sometime the next 2 weeks or so, I think.
It's a couple of weeks.
I want to mention, too, that those two word books, Figuratively Speaking and Who Said That, those are selling quite well in India. Apparently there's a big audience in India for wanting to learn about how people speak English over in the United States, just as they're very interested in culture and business and things like that over in the Western Hemisphere. So, if you've got a book that might appeal to India, talk to us.
Yeah, and the cool thing about, those Ashlooney books, if they're learning English through them over in India, they're learning like the Americanisms, the sayings, the slang stuff, and getting an idea where these things came from. So they're not just throwing these things out there and not knowing what it is that they're actually saying. Those books give you the history of those sayings. So if you're a writer and you're writing something where you throw those kind of terms around and you're not sure what they actually mean, grab one of these books, or both of them. They're actually really good.
So Marlena, do you spend a lot of time writing? Is it just kind of a little part-time hobby or something you do every day, or what's your process like?
I do try to write as often as I can. Whether it's just jotting down some new story ideas or kind of combining information I already have, or even editing, I try to find time for it somewhat daily. Sometimes it doesn't quite happen that way because life gets in the way, but it's definitely more than a part-time hobby to me. It's definitely something I can see as, I guess, more of a career side. It's that much enjoyable to me.
So where do you get your story ideas?
Oh, goodness. Pretty much everywhere. I have people ask me that before, and that's such a hard question to answer just because there's so many different areas of inspiration. I'm such a people watcher, not in that creepy way, but people, their reactions and their demeanor and the way they communicate with one another. And I've gotten story ideas just from that. And then even just watching like a TV show or a movie or listening to a certain song, an idea will just pop in my head. Probably most of my inspiration would come from dreams. I have really crazy, vivid dreams, or at least I have in probably the last 5 years. Super vivid dreams that as long as I can remember them, I will wake up and jot down the notes or put the notes in my phone or something just to try to, remember it. And another funny thing is I have a couple of friends, and Will's actually included in this. If they have a crazy dream, they will tell me about it, and I will write down their ideas, and one day hopefully we'll turn it into a story as well. It's kind of a never-ending cycle.
That's interesting.
So do you use beta readers or editors to pass your work around?
I let a few close friends, I wouldn't call them beta readers. They're just close friends. I'll let them read the story, or even I'll kind of discuss a few of the brainstorming ideas and stuff with them. I do have an editor that I found. She lives in, Calera, I think. I found her online. So once I finish the multiple read-throughs of mine, of my book, I send it to her for final editing.
Now that you're publishing, and the fans can now purchase your books, which we'll be talking about here shortly, what kind of reaction are you getting? What kind of feedback?
You know, I haven't actually gotten a whole lot of posts or reviews on Amazon for like the book we're talking about today. But the feedback I have gotten from people I know or that have, you know, reached out to me on social media and stuff, it's actually been really positive. I had one gentleman that I work with, he wanted a copy of the book because it was mine, and his wife stole it from him and read it for herself, and she was really excited about it. And they really liked it, you know, and it's, like I said, so far it's all been really positive, and it's, I love it. I love every bit of it.
Now, okay, let me check this out. All right.
We're not getting any calls, are we?
No, and I'm looking at, that's what I'm kind of checking out.
516 people, 516-453-9902.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We've got some of you that have been listening. I know you're listening week after week because I see the numbers, and every so often you might throw a tweet out there or something, but pick up the phone. Got a question or a comment for the reader or for the writer here, for our guest, if you're a reader or a writer, or just somebody listening on a whim. Pick up the phone. Let's make that call.
She's from Coleman, people. It doesn't get any more exciting than that. So Marlena,
right, well,
if we pull you up on Amazon, I see 11 titles here. A couple of them are fiction, and see half a dozen are paperbacks. And before you tell us about her new one, why don't you tell us about a couple of these earlier works, like Living My Best Life, for example?
Well, the first thing that I actually put out was, it's called The Intruder. It was a very short thriller. I actually released it as a ebook only, and it wasn't even an intentional thing. It just, the story idea pops in my head. I wrote it. A few friends liked it. I found the editor and sent it to her, and she made it 1,000,000 times better. And I liked it so much that I just wanted people to read it. Like, it had nothing to do with the money of it, of course. I just liked the story that much, so I put it out there. And the feedback was really good, of course. And from there, I don't know, it just kind of, you know, people joke about when they get a tattoo, how it's addictive. Well, putting books out is addictive.
Yeah.
And I found a love of creating covers, thanks to the Canva website. And I had so much fun just creating some different things and ideas and everything. And after some research, I discovered that people actually post low-content books that are just notebooks and planners. And I thought, what better way to play with my covers that I create than to just post some random notebooks and stuff. So after I did my short ebook, I released a writing prompts book that continues with the horror genre. It's one that you can only get in paperback, but it's just 30 or so writing prompts and things about creatures and nightmares and things that go bump in the night.
Ooh.
And then from there, I uploaded 8 more journals / notebooks / planners. Honestly, I think it's just because I have my own love of notebooks. I have way too many of them as it is, but I think that's a common thing for writers. And I figured, why not create my own and share it with others? So that happened. So within a very short span, again, I'm such a big research person. I figured out how to do the proper formatting and what the best way of creating the files and everything. you would think a notebook would be simple, but there's actually a lot to the creation of one, let me just say. But yeah, so I actually released, let's see, there's 2 yearly weekly planner options. And then I've got a couple grid journals. It's also known as bullet journals, but you can't legally use that term, I learned. And then 2 lined notebooks. Just, again, these are all just blank, use it as you want to notebooks. And let's see, from there, I wanted to create something.
The floral dot journal, is that one of them?
Yes, that's one of them.
Yeah.
And that's actually my own picture. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
That's another neat thing is, I love it. I thought that was such a pretty picture, which is another cool thing about putting your own books on Amazon is, being able to use your own pictures, and you get to really be your creative self, and I really like that.
Cool.
Probably my favorite. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, there was one other journal appreciation journal, and it's probably my favorite of the 8, just because in our world today, we need a lot more positivity, and that's something that's always been a thing for me, is just trying to be positive and happy outlooks and everything. So this journal actually is kind of a almost like a gratitude journal, or just focusing on all the good stuff in your life and your happy memories and stuff. So it's actually got some writing prompts in it, and some positive quotes and everything. So I think that about sums up all those.
That's a pretty cover on the appreciation journal. It's a painting of roses.
Oh, thank you very much.
Watercolor, maybe? Very pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's a great idea too, the appreciation journal, because I agree with you. There's not enough positivity in the world today. We do have a caller. If you want to take the call,
go.
All right. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? Even though I know who this is.
Hi there. This is Verwayne.
Hi, Verwayne.
Hey.
I'm currently in the Upper Peninsula right now, but
that's of Michigan.
I'm going to be moving to this. I'm going to be in Florida here, moving forward in the next 2 weeks. So I'll be moving to Madison, which isn't very far from Gary and all the rest of you. I mean, so that's in the northern tier of. I lived in Florida for 12 years. When my first wife had a stroke there, and so we came back to Michigan, and now we're going to move it's 1,500 miles from here to there. So just these small moves,
Mm. Yeah, but you're doing it at the right time, because winter time in the UP is cold and snowy.
Oh, so it's
and
summer.
They're already talking. This is good. This is going to be a vicious winter, is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have this saying here in the UP. We have this saying here in the UP. Summer in the Upper Peninsula is a beautiful thing. Last year it happened on July 23rd.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Stephen said, cold and snowy in the summertime up there too.
We had an accumulation of 1.5 inches of snow here.
Wow, we're not even
early September.
Yeah, see, that's how far the UP is from where I'm at in Michigan. We haven't had anything even close to that. We haven't even had a frost yet. I'm still
22 miles from Lake Superior, so.
Yeah, that's way up there.
Black fly territory.
You're up in Canada now, eh?
Yeah, I was a mile from Canada here the other day, so it was interesting. So
that's so neat.
I just wanted to say hello, Marlena. Good to hear you on the radio again, and I'm hoping that your adventures here turn out well. I think I've got 2 or 3 of your stories in my in my library, but I have this thing where I go out and buy 1.5, 2 dozen stories, and then slowly work my way through them. But, you get paid, and you go out and buy a bunch of books, and then you read them when you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
And, well, I just want to say hello and wish you the best with your marriage and things like that. As you heard, my wife, I got married again last August. My first wife died April of 2018, and Lisa and I got married August of 2020, and it's been nothing but wonderful. So,
well, we are glad that you and Lisa are in the audience tonight, and that she's doing much better. So, thank you for keeping us updated with what's going on as well.
She was in the hospital for 37 days, and all the way from here to Marquette to Rochester, Minnesota, where they finally did the second surgery, and things are going to be okay though. She had a follow-up MRI today, and they said it looked like everything was gone and everything was healing properly.
Oh, that's great news.
Fantastic.
We're very thankful for that.
Yes.
So, but I didn't call in to talk about myself, but I just wanted to say thank you for you being on there. I like I said, I've read several of your books, and I appreciate your style.
Cool.
Thank you, Verwayne.
Well, thank you for calling in, Verwayne.
And give our best to Lisa.
Yes.
Yes, it's so nice to hear from you.
Yep. Take care, dear.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Time to roll a commercial, Bean.
Yeah, and listen, listeners, you just heard Verwayne was able to call. It's a simple act. Just pick up the phone and dial the number.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Yep.
Come, take a peek behind the smile. A world you've never known before awaits your pleasures for a while. There's wonderment for you in store. From free verse poetry to sonnets, ballads, and many more poetic forms and styles, this incomparably amazing collection of 145 selected poems by master poet Richard W. Jenkins is not your everyday smattering of poetic jargon. They will captivate and embrace your senses, taking you on a metaphorical journey of inner exploration in sheer enthrallment that will entice you irresistibly back into their pages, time and again. Aficionados will appreciate the author's breakdowns of the poem's 52 forms, including some of his widely used originals. This treasure belongs within easy reach of every poetry lover. Whom could who feels what all we do not yearn a deeper bite? When each delicious taste we take flavors our world just right? Cherish your copy of Behind the Smile in hardcover, softcover, and ebooks from iBook to Kindle, Nook, Kobo, Google Play, and more. Behind the Smile is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group.
Yeah. If you're a poet fan, grab a copy.
Yes, I look forward to meeting Richard on the podcast here, hopefully in the next month or two as he continues his recovery.
Yeah. All right. How about we start talking about your work, Marlena? Now, The Intruder, I read that and I enjoyed that. I wrote a review for that, and you can touch on that if you want before we move to the more recent stuff. Tell us a little bit about The Intruder.
It is definitely a short read. I think it's a matter of like a few pages maybe. But I don't know, like I said, I really enjoyed the story of it, and it was kind of nice seeing my idea turned into an actual book, even if it is just an ebook. As for what it's actually about, with it being such a short read, I don't want to give away too much, but I will say it involves an introvert female who is basically, obviously she's an introvert. She works from home and everything, but she starts experiencing some crazy things going on in her home and with her phone. And, of course, you have her police officers that try to save the day and everything. And I feel like there's a couple twists in there, and I feel like that's an important aspect of any thriller.
That was the cool thing, was one of those twists. It was like, oh, cool.
That one was fun, though. I enjoyed writing that one.
Okay, so now you've got this new one, Ella, which I have on my my Kindle, and I haven't had a chance to get to that yet because, like Verwain just explained, you buy a bunch of books, and here's the thing with me. I pick up books left and right at garage sales, too. You get a brand new hardcover for $1, and it's a book.
You can't pass that up.
Yeah, I've heard about it, so I grabbed those, and I got stacks of them, and then I got all these books on my Kindle. What I try to do is go back and forth between a physical book that I got at a garage sale, or then after that do the Kindle. So yours is coming up pretty soon, Ella is. So keep an eye out for a review from me. But tell us what this is about.
Oh, yay.
Well, where did the idea come from and all that, You know how to sell a book.
I know. Yeah, and I know y'all were going to ask me that question, and I tried really hard to remember where the story idea came from. And for the life of me, I cannot remember. It was just, I guess it's just one of those random ideas that popped in my head. I don't know. But
standing in line at the grocery store?
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right. But Ella it's such a sweet story. It's contemporary. It's not like full blown Christian, but it does have a little bit of Christianity in it, which that's important to me. So I try to include that every once in a while. But it involves a harvest festival, which is my favorite time of year anyway. So I feel like a lot of my own personality and my favorite things kind of went into this story. You've got your small town, you've got your journalist, and harvest festival season. So it's kind of all my favorite things thrown into a short story.
What's the story behind the cover?
Actually, I was playing around on Canva, and I found this image of, a partial image of the girl that's on the cover, and it was like it spoke to me. Like everything about it made me think of my main character. It made me think of Ella. I don't know, it felt so perfect. And then from there, I just kind of played around with the shapes and everything, and until I felt like it was just right. But yeah, the female on the cover is exactly what I imagine Ella to look like. Although you can't fully see her face, but you still get the idea.
Cool. Looks very nice.
What's the story about? Hello?
Did you say something, Dean?
Yeah. I said, so what's the story about?
Oh, sorry. The thing you cut out. Okay. If it's okay, I can actually read the blurb.
Okay. Sure.
Let's see. Ella has hit rock bottom. The only thing on her mind is getting home. But her car breaks down 5 hours away from her destination. She finds herself stuck in the unfamiliar town of Paradise Falls. Instead of spending hours waiting on car repairs, Ella meets a local who invites her to help with the town's harvest festival. Thanks to the kindness of a stranger, she's able to find joy in her favorite time of the year. The few hours for car repairs quickly turn into an overnight visit as Ella continues to enjoy the festivities. Fondness of the town grows with each passing day, forcing Ella to make a difficult decision. Should she follow her heart or continue the plan she's always had for her life?
Okay. The characters This is something that always fascinates me with writers, because I have my own thing with the characters and all that. The characters in this particular story, or in any of them, do you ever include bits and pieces of real life people, or even whole personalities of real life people that you know? Or are these just completely, you make them all up?
I feel like it's kind of a combination of both. I definitely see a lot of myself in Ella as the main character. And I don't know, I guess living in a semi-small town and growing up watching all those kind of movies and TV shows, I felt like I kind of almost did the stereotypical characters. The one big difference, and kind of something that's special to me, in the story, you actually meet Junior, who was the local that saved her from hours of car repairs. His parents, their names are Ruth and Jack, and that was actually my grandparents' name. So that was something that I wanted to include. I kind of give homage to them. I wanted, like I said earlier, kind of include a little bit of myself, and I'm very sentimental on things, especially the older I get. So I wanted to definitely include a little bit of my family, my life experiences and everything. So yeah, I was, to sum up the answer to your question, it's definitely a combination. It's a little bit of people in my life, and then I try to throw in a little bit of some differences and stuff, so it's not exactly like anybody I know.
Well, speaking of Ella, over on Twitter, Robert Williscroft says, in my hard sci-fi world, Ella, ELA, stands for Extinction Level Event, typically when a very large asteroid is headed toward Earth. Yeah, now see, we get these glimpses into how the mind of Robert Williscroft works.
I love that, though.
Yeah. He also asks, are these notebooks print on demand?
No, I don't think.
Okay, but they are paperback?
Yes, they're paperback on Amazon. I think they take, I'm trying to think how long mine took. It took about 2 weeks to come in.
So this is through KDP then?
Yes.
You started with Kindle.
I did everything.
KDP.
Everything's self-publishing.
That is print on demand then. That's all Amazon does.
I don't know terms. Y'all should know this by now. I don't know things.
You gotta learn them.
Print on demand is where you.
I need to study up. You're right.
It's the newer technology where you print books one at a time, as opposed to like offset printing where they print thousands at a time.
That makes sense then.
That way, books are printed when they're ordered, rather than somebody trying to have a warehouse full of them in stock.
So then, yes.
Yeah.
All my books are print on demand.
Now,
I appreciate the educational moment.
Before we get too far from this, Verwayne Greenhill, before he called, he had actually posted a comment about, you had talked about, waking up from dreams and jotting stuff down. And he says, my cell is always at my bed, and I use its speech-to-text ability to leave myself a detailed note. It beats waking up far enough to finger type a lot of notes. So that's an idea right there.
Yes, that's genius.
Speech to text.
Now you can write the story about the person who had that one cryptic note from the middle of the night that's needed to be understood in order to save the world.
It came through in a dream. Yeah. Now, Ella is one that's you can get it in paperback, right? Yes,
it's paperback or ebook. Yes.
Well, tell them how they can get it and how much it'll cost.
They are available through Amazon, and the ebook is available for $1.99, and the paperback is available for $4.99.
Cool. That's a deal with people. $4.99 for a paperback. That's almost garage sale prices.
Now, I see Intruder is only available on Kindle. You don't have a paperback of that one available?
I do not. With it being so short, and the way the Amazon or the KDP prices work and everything, I felt like the only decent deal was through ebook.
Okay.
With it being so short, so yeah, it's just ebook.
And that is for 99 cents over on Amazon for the Kindle edition.
Mm-hmm.
So, Marlena, you got any new projects that you're working on?
Oh, do I? I'm always working on something.
All right.
Do tell.
Well, let's see. The one I am currently working on is called The Power of Love. I'm not positive of the length yet. I know it's going to be longer than Ella. I'm not sure it's going to be quite novel length, though. I feel like most of my stories end up having a strong female lead, and this one's no different. This one is about Scarlett Montgomery, which the name, I absolutely fell in love with the name when I decided on it.
Sounds Alabama.
Right? Yeah, see, I come through on everything right. My Southern Belle growing up comes out and everything. This story, it's actually completely, I've got it written, so it's done, at least the first draft. I still want to go through and, add a few more details and do some really deep revisions to it and everything, but I'm hoping I can get it done soon, relatively soon, and get it over to my editor and try and get it out, because I'm desperately ready to get another book out, that's for sure.
Well, then
now,
we're desperately ready to have you come back and tell us about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, who do you use for editor? You can go ahead and give a shout out if you want to give a shout out to your editor.
Her name is Rose Lipscomb. She actually is with Flawless Fiction. I wanted to go with someone that was local. Like, I guess growing up writing, I always imagined having a nice coffee or tea with, someone that was helping me with my books. And so that was why I wanted to go with local. And then I also wanted someone that didn't know me at all. There was no relationship already there, so it would be a completely unbiased opinion. And that's when I sent her The Intruder, and she's just as nice as can be. She's been very supportive and encouraging of me and everything, and I absolutely adore her. And we see eye to eye on everything, and she's really great at making the edits, but not just making edits or suggesting them, but she explains them. And that's super important to me since I am still learning a lot of stuff. But yeah, so far she's edited both my first stories, Ella and The Intruder. And so she'll be getting the next one as soon as I finally get it done.
Now,
Mr. G.
I thought you were starting to say Harmony Kent. I mean, I heard Harmony, right? Didn't you say Harmony, and then you said the other name?
Rose.
Okay.
Rose.
Yeah. Yeah, but the explaining that's what Stephen does when he's editing people's books. He doesn't just do the changes or anything like that. He gets with the author and explains them so that the author learns as well. So when they go to write their next book, they've got some info there.
Exactly. That's so important.
No, we haven't touched on this. Do you have book trailers for your books?
I don't. But when you were talking,
I know somebody who makes book trailers.
Exactly. I'm not even lying. I started on notes earlier about looking into me getting a book trailer. So yeah, that's definitely crossing my mind now.
Cool. Yeah, everybody's got the book trailers now, and they're useful because they tell you the story.
They're becoming much more popular.
Yeah. So jump on the bandwagon.
Yes, exactly.
So do you have any advice for writers out there I know you had some great advice last time.
The biggest piece of advice I would give is to never stop. I feel like in today's world, which things are a little different right now because working at home has become a more common thing. But I know before, if you told someone you're a writer, a lot of people don't look at you with a seriousness. It's looked at like it's not always a real job. And I feel like that can be really discouraging to a lot of people. I've heard that before too. But it's so important that if it's something you enjoy, if it's the passion of yours, regardless of your following, regardless of the money you make, if you enjoy it, then you should just do it.
I'll take that advice.
What you got to do is when you tell people you're a writer, you got to throw that, I'm a Pulitzer Prize winning writer.
I need to remember that next time.
Yeah, they'll take you a little more seriously then.
That's true.
All right, so
your website and whatnot.
Now, Marlena, you said you were you've always been a reader. Favorite writers? Who are some of your favorite writers, and what are some of your favorite books that you read over the years?
Oh gosh.
And this can be something from when you were a child or something you just recently read. I've got tons of favorites going all the way back to when I first started reading.
I know, that's such a hard question. Oh gosh.
What are some of the ones that just that stood out to you, and some of them might have even motivated you to, hey, it's time for me to get back behind the keyboard and start writing.
Jane Olson was always one of my favorites.
A classic.
And not just her, but there were, some of the authors, one of them, Deborah Smith, she actually took a couple of Jane Austen's stories, like Sense and Sensibility, and turned it into a modern Christian story. And so both versions of that story idea I absolutely love. And I don't know, I like that part of it, that, to me it's not stealing someone's story idea, it's taking the general idea and making it your own. And as long as it's done right and properly, I think that's really neat. Just like nowadays, we see a lot of people taking some of the old fairy tales and everything and turning them into something that suits their personality and different spin on and everything. I love those kind of stories.
Yeah.
And of course, y'all. I can't not mention y'all. Y'all are some of the best writers I know.
Who is this y'all?
Beam Weeks and Stephen G.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, talking about some of those fairy tales and whatnot, you see how they're doing, like here a few years ago, they did a different take on Hansel and Gretel. And then you've got Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Yes.
And people bought that stuff, man. It's, it's somebody's creative mind. Hey, what if we made Lincoln kill vampires? That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I guess I just really like the creativity side of people and what they can come up with.
Oh yeah, I'm amazed at some of the stuff that I read. I'm thinking, all right, this isn't going to work, and then you start reading, I was like, this works. This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, Marlena, where can people contact you? Social media, blog, website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter. I have both of those. I'm under as writer M. Smith. I try to be consistent on all the fronts. And then I do have a couple websites. You've already named one of them, scribblingsofasouthernbelle.wordpress.com. And I have one it's more of a lifestyle blog. It has a little bit of book stuff, but it's just kind of a different, I guess, platform with a lot of talk about mental health and stuff, because that's something that's important to me. But it's simplifiedchaos.home.blog, So that's another option for contacting or staying up to date with me.
Cool. Okay. Okay, you're on Facebook?
Oh, yes. I do have a Facebook author page. I probably don't use it like I should. I use my personal page more than anything. But it is listed as author Marlena Smith, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday and joining us here on the show.
Yeah, it's been a hoot.
Well, thank y'all so much. I always enjoy talking to y'all.
Well, when you get the new book done, you got to come back.
Of course. Third time's the charm, right?
Yeah, you've got an open invitation.
Thank you very
much.
much.
You have something new out there, you are welcome on the show. You just let us know that you got something new, and we'll get you in here.
And by the way, I just found you on Facebook just as Marlena Smith without author.
Yes, okay, that works too.
Marlena Smith.
All right.
Yeah. And what a pretty smile in your profile picture.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so who we got next week, Beam?
Well, coming up next week, we have a musician and teacher, Brooke Krieger. Brooke's been playing guitar his whole life. He's now, I think, 52. About 52, I think. And he's been playing guitar since he was like 12. And by the time he was 16, he was teaching at one of the music shops. And he toured the world, or not the world, he toured the country with various bands, opening for some of the bigger bands, and it came close to getting signed a couple of times, and it never really came to pass. And now he's teaching a music class out in Arizona, and he also works on websites and whatnot. So he's got a lot of really cool, interesting road warrior stories. So tune in next week. And I'm going to be doing this solo as Mr. G's will be going, hey, hey, we're the Monkees. He's going to see the Monkees on their farewell tour.
Oh, how fun.
A couple of days ago, I went and saw Black Jacket Symphony do Pink Floyd's The Wall. And sitting next to me was a pair of grandparents. They brought their 9-year-old grandson with them, and I was just tickled to see that. I mean, you're introducing
awesome.
Pink Floyd to a 9-year-old, and I said, "Is this his first Pink Floyd?" And he said, "Oh no, we took him to see the Dark Side of the Moon show, and they named other shows that they'd taken him to see too." So that's pretty cool. And I mentioned to him, when I was his age, it was the Monkees. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees. And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. And I said, I'm going to see them next week. Their farewell tour, the 2 surviving members, Mickey Dolenz and Mike Nesmith, and they got excited. It was like, oh man, because they had tickets to see the Monkees in Nashville last year, and it got canceled because of the pandemic. So they had their phones out seeing if they could still get tickets. So maybe I'll see them next week at the Monkees. But at any rate, the show after that, we've got Jay Ash Looney. You heard a commercial for his word books tonight. We've also published 5 plays by him, 5 or 6, and we're working on an omnibus book of several of his plays. And we are also just any second now from putting out his book, Whoopi Likes Her Bacon Crispy. So tune in for Jay Ash Looney the week after that. And after Ash Looney?
After Ash Looney, we have Patricia A. Guthrie and her Legacy of Danger book, which is a stellar romantic, mystery, paranormal, thriller book. It's got all kinds of different stuff in it, and I've read it. It's an excellent book. She'll be on to talk about that.
That and her other great books as well.
Yeah.
So thanks again for calling in tonight, Verwayne, and our best to you and Lisa. Thanks for everybody who participated on Twitter. Thanks to everybody for sharing, and especially thank you, Marlena, for spending some time with us this evening.
Thanks, Mar.
It's my pleasure.
Talk to everybody next week. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been a part of Voice of Indie, a production of Fresh Ink Group. Spread the word, support our guests, then find us at freshinkgroup.com and be sure to hashtag Fresh Ink Group.